Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful Monday. Today I wanted to give you a little update on my first Bioactive Terrarium build, and I wanted to share with you the geckos that I put into this build because it's been about 3 months now since I've had it up and running. And if you watched my previous video on this, which was a couple videos ago now, you saw me kind of build this terrarium and put it together, everything that kind of went into it. So I wanted to give you a little bit of an update on how it's doing, a few things that I changed, and then again the animals that I put into here because there's something that I haven't owned before. So you can see just up front here that it looks pretty good right off the bat. The plants are still alive for the most part and they're doing well. And I did add a few things since I think you last saw it. So one of the things I added was this pothos right here. It was just a clipping from another one that I had, and it seems to be doing pretty well actually. You might notice some poop on some of the leaves here on the plants. So that was one of the things that I added, was this new little pothos. I think it's root and it's doing pretty good. It's been in there for about a month. I also added this other little pothos down here, which is a different variety. He doesn't seem to be doing so well. He's a little wilted, but he's also been there for a month and hasn't died yet. So he might pull through, but we'll have to wait and see on him. Something else that I added was a little magnetic feeding ledge here that I just had sitting around. The geckos really seem to enjoy that, so I put 1 cup of food on the ground and 1 in there as well so they can have their choice of where they would like to eat. But that's about all the new things that I've added to this tank. As far as things that were already in here, you can see are the main pothos that I had planted back in the corner here is looking pretty good. Getting some new shoots on it and growing quite a bit. On the floor there, there's a couple little dead leaves, but nothing too major. So that's doing pretty good back there in the corner. I also added a new light, which I forgot to mention. But you can also see that these false Aurelia that I had in front here, which were really spindly and kind of green, have really darkened up and gotten a lot more bushy. But they continue to get more leaves. They just keep getting a little bit thicker and bushier. So that's a good sign. Those probably will make it as well. One thing you might notice is that some of the moss I had added up higher on the branches is kind of turned yellow. That might be from getting too much light because the moss that I added lower to the ground, as you can see, is still relatively green. I don't know if that's a water thing or a light thing. It might be getting too much light there, so that's I think why it's kind of dying a little bit or turning yellow. But other than that, this tank is doing really well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the animals I got in here in a little kind of impromptu unboxing video. So what type of gecko did I put in this terrarium? Well, as you can see here, there's a lot of them and they're very small, but they're also very cute. Little mourning geckos. So this is a species I haven't owned before. They can eat the crested gecko diet and they can eat little insects as well. And as you can see, they are very, very small. And so I just wanted to show you kind of the unboxing experience here because this was completely new for me as well. So they came shipped, like any other reptile. They were in little kind of portion containers, which actually worked out really good because of how small they were. And I know that that's my first thought that I had when I was opening these up. Back in early September was, wow, these are really, really small. I mean, you read about them online and everybody's like, yeah, they're small, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, well, I mean, how small can they really be? But these guys are tiny. And, some of these are pretty much like adult size. I have noticed that since I got these that some of them have grown a little bit. But I mean, right when I got these, after I put them into their temporary tank, I had one that was laying eggs. So, I mean, they were pretty much adult size then. They've gotten a little bit bigger, but yeah, they were really, really small, and I was just amazed at how small they actually are in real life. Now, this is one thing that I think I kind of made the mistake on when getting these ones. So as you can see, I'm taking these out of here, but you'll see the letters on the top. That just means kind of what locale they are. So depending on that locale or what type they are, maybe that's not the right word, what type they are, it depends how much you're going to pay for them. So some of them have a higher expression of the black spots that are on their back, and typically that makes them more valuable. And so for this, I kind of went all out, I guess you would say, and I bought some of the nicer ones that were, quote, higher expression, which were like $62 a piece, I think is what it came out to, and I got 8 of them. So it was relatively expensive to get these little mourning geckos, and I kind of wish I would have just gotten some like normaler, less high expression ones, which are only around like $25, $30. So, I mean, they're still cool and they're very beautiful, don't get me wrong, and hopefully they'll be breeding in that terrarium. But I wish I kind of would have gotten the cheaper ones, so that's maybe something I would have done in the future. And I do have plans for getting more mourning geckos possibly in the future in some other smaller terrariums. So we'll keep an eye out for that, but you can see a lot of these geckos up close and personal right now. You can see a lot of them are really small, but they got those really cool black dots, some of them. So these are really cool, and so far, over the last 3 months, I've really enjoyed watching them. Their terrarium is in my bedroom, and they make little squeaks and squawks, and you know, I like to see them eat and stuff, and it's just really cool all around. So I really enjoy these little mourning geckos, but let's see if we can go back to the terrarium and find some in there. I think the hard part's going to be trying to find some of these in here during the day when I have the lights on, but there is actually this little guy sticking right up to the screen here, or girl I should say, and you can see that they're about the size of a pinky finger is what I would say. This girl's pretty chubby too, so you know, she's just sticking there during the day. It's kind of hard to see them sometimes, but I actually do see a couple. But the thing is, I put about 8 of them in here, which I think is pretty fair considering this is an 18 by 18 by 24. And I mean, with how small these are, they have a ton of room in here. Now, I am a little bit worried because I haven't seen all 8 of them all out at once. I'm guessing they're all in here. The most I've counted at once was 5. But, you know, I mean, I don't think I've had any escape or anything. I gecko-proofed it before I put them in there. So, I mean, they could just be hiding really good. And they are good at hiding and camouflaging. And with how much stuff is in here, I wouldn't be surprised. But you can see that there's a couple. There's 2 of them sitting on the back ledges up there as well. So let me see if I can get a little zoom in on that. So you can see there's one there. Just chilling. We got the guy on the screen. And there's one guy right behind that. Or girl, I should say. These are all technically females. Because they can clone themselves. So... but other than that, I've really enjoyed watching the mourning geckos, and like I said in my previous building of this bioactive terrarium, it was a lot of fun to build. I'm hoping to build some more in the future, maybe some smaller ones, and then maybe some for a crested gecko. But let me know down below in the comments, do you have any mourning geckos? How do you feel about mourning geckos? I've actually really enjoyed watching them. I think they're just a little bit more interesting than crested geckos maybe. Crested geckos are kind of cool to watch sometimes, but I really like the group dynamic that you can keep mourning geckos in. So it's been very enjoyable for me. But with that being said, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in my next one.